But I applaud his effort to read. And you know what's funny is he said the stories that he's been reading from, I guess 30 years ago, everybody smokes. He said everybody smokes in these stories.
Yeah.
And nobody has a cell phone. But they got all the same problems we got today.
Right.
The
Right.
problems haven't changed from 1987 to 2025. Only thing that's different is we got cell phone and we don't smoke anymore. Apparently.
And it is. It's interesting to because
But the stuff we do is worse than smoking.
yeah, it's interesting to go back and read things that you read like as a kid
Right.
and like books that you like and go back and read them because especially if they're written in the time period because it's stuff that your kids wouldn't even get.
Yeah.
They'd just be like, what are they talking about?
Oh yeah. Yeah. What else happened at the county council meeting?
Oh, let's see.
How many Werther's originals did Glenn Hart open?
I have no idea.
More than 20?
I don't know because I have people louder than his rappers at
But y'all
my
know what I'm
house.
talking about, right? It's the most obnoxious shit ever.
Let's see. There's a presentation from Prisma talking about ambulance services and
Oh, I'd love to hear about that.
how great the ambulance service is in our area. And evidently, our ambulance service for rural Oconee is cutting edge.
Cutting edge.
It is. It is.
Look,
Evidently,
Saturday, May the 3rd, at 12 noon, a call went out for an unconscious victim in Mountain Rest. 26 minutes later, Prisma showed up. 26 minutes. That's the response time you get from Cutting Edge.
Well, this was in response to a child that had an accident, and they showed up, I believe, in 7 minutes
Because they lived in Seneca.
because they were bleeding out, and because of their response, they were able to save that child. So they evidently have a very good track record with transport for emergencies.
If they can get there. If there's not a wreck in Greenville that has called all of our ambulances to Greenville,
That's,
then what happens? Then what happens when they ain't none here?
yeah.
Oh, well, they got to transport somebody to Greenville, and then a call comes out in Greenville. Well, that ambulance is going to stay over there and run that call. They're not coming back to Oconee County because they don't work for Oconee County. They work for Prisma.
Yep. That did not come.
That's cutting edge.
That did not. Let's see. The other thing was talk about the school budget.
Oh, school budget. They don't need no schools.
Yeah.
We need roads.
They
We can't. The kids can't read anyway. We don't need a school.
and this is where people need to get involved because they want to cut the school budget. They want because evidently they just signed off on it last year to increase the millage to cover the school budget.
That's because they didn't even read it. Do you remember?
That's exactly what.
That's
I
because the
think.
councilman's wife needed a job. That's why they didn't read it.
I think that they haven't really paid attention to the school budget. That it's never been an issue, and I'm not sure why they're making it an issue now. They're saying, oh, they've got an overage of money. They've got an abundance of money in the school budget. We need to invest in school.
Mhm.
We do. And I think that the best people to monitor that money and decide how that money is spent is the school board, the people that we voted for.
Well, hold on a minute.
I mean,
Do you think for a minute maybe that this all-male county council might be scrutinizing the school board budget because the school board is all a bunch of granny women?
I don't think they're all granny women, but I do think that most all of them are doctorate level educated women with years of experience.
How much education's on the county council?
There's not a single person there that has doctorate level education.
But hey,
So,
look,
and-
Matt Durham's got him a 10-minute MBA from Furman or whatever at North Greenville or whatever.
And none of them have experience in education. And
Well, now, hold on a minute now. Tommy James homeschooled all his kids, and Matt Durham's wife homeschooled all her kids until he lost his job for a year and she had to go back to work. They know about education.
there are people that,
They didn't get no $6 million to raise their kids.
yeah, I'm sorry, that these women have years of experience in education, and again, doctorate level education. They're experts in their field, and that's why they were elected by the people of Oconee to do their jobs. And that's who needs to decide about the school budget.
I'm just really so. This wouldn't even be a problem if Vicky Smith had been elected.
Okay.
It wouldn't have been a problem.
But she wasn't. So yeah, people
And now it's a
people
problem.
spoke about that. People wrote that down. So yeah, people decided about that, and yeah, that's why we have elections. And the other thing too that I thought was interesting is that 75%, I believe, and somebody can check me on this because I'm generally sleep deprived, but 75% of the districts in South Carolina don't have to have the approval of the county council for their school board budgets, and I think we need to go with that. I think we, as populace, need to find out how that happens and make that happen here, because
Well,
I think we need to let.
There's intrinsic value in having a county council that are trustees for county government and a school board who are trustees for the school system.
Right.
There's plenty enough to do over here in the county. Look at our roads. Look at building maintenance. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about all the other shit that county council's failing at. Fix that, and
Right.
let Dr. Ketterman and her host of doctors fix the school problems.
Right.
That's what needs to happen.
Right. I believe that. And that's what folks voted for.
But you get Big City Barry, who comes in here as part of the Republican Party. He's been in Gwinnett County, Georgia, his whole life. Been there running for office over there. Didn't even get 20% of the vote in the Republican primary because they know he's a wackadoodle. And so he comes over here and goes, well, hey, look, I found a whole group of wackadoodles. I can be their leader. Oh, my God, what is this, Goonies? But anyway, there we go. He wrote this big old thing about taking the money from the kids, Because I tell you what'll happen. They take that money from the kids. The school system's still gonna get their money. They're just gonna close that Tomasi Salem Elementary School, and then they'll get that $2 million back. They won't be spending it up there, and them kids will get bused Pacifica. Think about that, Matt Durham.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about people's inconvenience or I mean, seriously.
Them people from Salem will have his ass if he does that.
And I mean, they should have their school. I mean, why should they have to sit on a bus for all that time? I mean,
Look, I've got my own.
Little kids getting up, and I've even thought for years, and since I was a kid, that it's awful because kids used to have to get up at like 5 something in the morning when it was dark in Mountain Rest to get on the school bus to go to. I mean, it's ridiculous for a kid to be on a bus for an hour, like a 5-year-old to be out, in the cold, in the dark, catching a bus to go to school. A little bitty kid, a kindergartner. It's nuts.
Had my own set of issues with the school system over the buses. Look, the bus driver refused to drive down my county road because the right-of-way is not even 50 feet. It's 13 feet from ditch to ditch. School bus is afraid to drive through there.
But
So they want my child to walk a mile in the national forest to get home. Now, I came up with an alternate idea, and I sent it to the school, and they didn't want to do it. I said, hey, drop them off across from the dollar store at Mountain Rest. I own that property too. I'll be there. We'll be there to get him. Oh no, we don't do that. We'll make those kind of arrangements. I had to go all the way to the chairman of the school board and ask for her to intervene so that this kid didn't have to walk a mile home in the rain through the national forest.
A 6-year-old.
He's 12 now, but this was this year. His 12-year-old. Like they want, when he was 6, they wanted him to walk down a mile to the house.
Yeah.
Because, well, our bus is too dangerous for the buses. Well, if that road's too dangerous for school bus, it's too dangerous for the mailman. It's too dangerous for fire. It's too dangerous for EMS.
UPS and Amazon don't have trouble.
Everybody, you know, is in danger because of this 13-foot road we trying to transit. And we got the county at the planning commission level trying to reduce the right-of-ways and make all our roads smaller. What, kids, everybody's kid's going to have trouble if they can't get the school bus up the road.
Yeah.
And you got a housing development that's got 30 houses in it at low-income housing where, because you want your children to be able to live here, you want $100,000 houses in there. We're all going to have kids. All going to need a school bus. And you know what? Who lives in low-income housing? That's developing families and pedophiles. You know what? You're going to let that little boy and that little girl walk by that pedophile's damn house to the bus stop? No. Make the right-of-ways big enough that the school buses can get down.
Yeah. You need to be able to turn around. You need to be able to get
I mean,
there.
it's just common sense, and this county council ain't got that. And that bunch on that planning commission, my God, to watch them planning commission meetings, it's unreal. Unreal.
Somebody talked about that too. Somebody talked about the planning commission.
What did they say?
There was a question about Mr. Smith and having a conflict of interest. You'll have to go back.
Mr. Smith, which Mr. Smith?
Mike Smith.
Oh, because he's a real estate developer and he
Yes.
wants to
Yes.
cut down the right of way so he can put more houses in there? Of course.
But,
I mean, he works for, that's his job, and now he's going to take his job and he's going to influence the government with it,
It was a little
taking.
more than that. I encourage everyone to go watch. The public comments, yeah, they were interesting this time. So yeah, it was an interesting meeting
So-
that everyone needs to watch.
So that was the county council meeting. Was there anything, the other big hits at the county council meeting?
Not that I remember, but
Oh.
yeah, it was a lot.
So-
It was a lot in a short amount of time. It didn't go as long as they normally do,
Right.
but yeah, it was a lot in a little bit of time.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about Walhalla City. They had their council meeting last night. And I haven't gotten to watch the video. Can't find it right now.
Yeah, I can't either.
I'm sure that it was a good meeting. There've been a lot of pomp and circumstance popping up about their budgeting and not having no money and the county's not giving them any money. But this morning I read that, what's his name, Linda McLean, the new councilman, is that her name?
Lynn.
Lynn
Yeah.
McLean?
Yeah.
She puts on Facebook that Walhalla City is solvent. They've got money. There's no issues. So what is it? Do you need money? Do you don't need money? What's
Well,
going
they
on?
need long term to not be dependent on the water department. They need to not be dependent on water for
Mm-hmm.
income. I mean, that's a whole thing. You don't want to be dependent on a utility for your income to pay your bills.
Who sold them that idea anyway?
I don't know.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. But I mean, the idea is to have other revenue, and I'm here for it. I mean, I don't know who came up with the idea that the annexation is the boogeyman, because I, for one, would like to see something in that dirt patch out there behind Zaxby's. And somebody had said, oh, it's just a way to make money. Well, duh. You know, if corporations are paying into the system, that's money that we don't have to pay there, fella. You know, if Tractor Supply is paying into Walhalla
But-
City,
But
if
you can't-
Aldi is paying into Walhalla City,
so
if what was the other one that was the prospective business that's coming? Aldi, Tractor Supply, and there was one other.
I can't remember.
But if
it's-
they're all paying into Walhalla City, that's money that Kathy Littleton doesn't have to pay, and all the other water people don't have to
Well,
pay.
here's the thing. City,
Yeah.
in the city, there's sales tax, right?
Yeah,
That's more. You pay more sales tax in the city than you would in the county. It's like 1 or 2%.
yeah.
Who's paying that sales tax?
Customers.
Customers, right?
Yeah.
Not every customer that buys something in Walhalla lives in Walhalla.
Yeah.
That tax is an investment from everyone else into the city, so the city can grow and the city don't have to depend on water bills.
Yeah.
So if you have more businesses in the city that people want to go to, like we don't need another coffee shop, and we don't need another thrift store, but damn sure don't need another antique store anywhere in the county. But if you had businesses that people wanted to go to inside the city limits, they're dropping an extra 1-2% on top of the rest of the money that they're spending. So your citizens are making money without having it being on their backs. It only makes sense to want to have businesses in your city, and if you've got a business that's close to your city, annex that son of a gun and have that revenue for the city. Only makes sense to me.
Well, the thing of it is too, just when you're thinking about how much everything is growing and how many more people are coming, and that's inevitable. That's inevitable. That's what, South Carolina is the #1 move to state. Facts are facts. I'm not making that up. A simple Google search will show you that.
But why?
Because it's cheap.
That's because it's the wild, wild west of innovation. There ain't nothing here. And every rule and ordinance that everybody's got everywhere else in the world, because of all these problems, just never happened here. And when all them people get here, we're going to get them rules anyway. But then we're going to have all them people too. So fix the rules so they go somewhere else.
Yeah. But regardless of who, what, when, or where, or why, they're here. They're coming. But the whole point is if they're moving to Walhalla or the outskirts of Walhalla, they're spending money. They have to eat. They have to buy gas. They have to do all the things that human beings do. Well, if whatever we can do in Walhalla, and I do not want to see Main Street screwed up. I do not want to see historic houses knocked down. I hate that. I love Arby's food. I love beef and cheddar. Sorry, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole here. As much as I love them, I would much rather the old house that was there 30 years ago still be there and Arby's be out there in West Union somewhere. Okay? I don't want to see that ever happen again to any of these old houses that are on Main Street. I don't want to see any of the old churches be knocked down for fast food or anything like that.
I tell you what I would like to see knocked down in Walhalla is that old courthouse. What kind of bullshit eyesore are we still looking at every time we drive through there?
And
Tear it down!
He keeps bugging me with this, trying to taunt me with the donut shop as much as I love donuts. Don't want a donut shop there either. You take a donut,
It could just be a parking lot.
take a donut shop on the back street somewhere where we're not looking at it. But anyway, the whole point is anything that we can put in Walhalla to get people to stay and spend their money in Walhalla is going to generate revenue. And that means they're not going to throw their dollars away in Seneca, okay? They're not going to spend their money in Clemson. They're not having to go spend their money somewhere else. And that's good for Walhalla. It's a no-brainer. And why people are screaming about it, oh, you're just trying to make money. Well, duh.
That's exactly what the city's supposed to do.
That's what the city's supposed to do. They're supposed to try to make money for the city because guess what? That supports rec ball. That supports the auditorium. That supports the Oktoberfest.
Let's talk about rec ball. The county doesn't have recreational schools anywhere. The cities do, the municipalities do. If you live out in the county, you got to pay double whatever the city price
Right.
is. Well, every time that the price goes up for city folks, it goes up double for us living in the county. Well, if the city had more revenue from other things, the damn price for rec wouldn't go up.
Right.
And it wouldn't affect me.
Right.
But the problems with the city still affect me in Mountain Ridge.
Right.
But I'm not paying city taxes.
Right.
I don't want to pay city taxes, but I understand that if the city made more money other places, that the fees wouldn't be so high.
Well, you know,
We'd have a damn better nice swimming pool to go to instead of that thing that they got.
yeah, you could just parks and things, just nice things cost money. I mean, they do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having nice things. I mean, people.
I agree.
People deserve to have recreation, have nice things. I mean, it's the good things in life. It's what you talk about supporting families and this kind of thing. You know, families like to get out and do things. You know, that's the price of having places to go, parks and recreation, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Family outings. It's Sertoma Field, all those things. That, you know, the swimming pool, the little park behind it, those walking paths, as much as people hate those or love to talk about it, those are all things that cost money to maintain and keep up. I mean, and the whole thing with annexation, you know, people are like, oh, they're going to take my land. You know, if you read it, anybody that currently has Walhalla water is just going to be grandfathered in. It's never going to touch them. If your children inherit the land, it's not going to touch them. If you sell it, then that's a whole other story. But again, that's still not touching you.
But again, if the city is growing past you, it's okay to be part of the city.
Yeah.
If you don't want to live in the city, you need to sell that to somebody that wants to live in the city and move out in the country.
Yeah.
That's how that works. You know, the city's coming. It's getting bigger. It's going to grow. It has to. It's not going to stay the same.
And again, you know, and I hate to be this person and agree with somebody that I really don't agree with on anything else in life. If you hate so much the utilities, you still have the option to dig a septic system and a well. Mm-hmm. Those are always viable options if you do not want to participate. It's America.
I really don't think that idiot knew what he was saying when he said that.
But it is. It's a viable option. We live, for right now, we still live in America, and it's free, and that's a viable option. If you don't want to participate in public utilities, you can do that thing. You can do that.
So, but it's about time to go. I want to touch one last time on the Planning Commission and the 50-foot right-of-ways. I watched the last Planning Commission meeting, and Teresa Spicer had a lot of really, really great things to say. And then she invited up a speaker from South Carolina Department of Transportation to give some guidance to them. And that one moron on the board, or commission, it's not a board, it's a commission. All he wanted to do was act like he was smarter than everybody else in the room and play stump the chump with some guy that took time out of his day to come in there and answer reasonable questions about the right-of-ways. That was embarrassing on all kind of levels for that to have happened. Now, I don't understand why these people think that, I mean, you work in a damn sprinkler company. You ain't an astronaut or nothing. You ain't that smart. So quit playing look it up with the guy that's there to answer questions. I mean, you made the whole county look like a bunch of idiots. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, maybe there are wrong questions.
No, well, there was like on this graph. It says here. What does it say? What does it say, sir? Well, if you're reading it, why are you trying to play stump the chump with this dude? That was stupid.
And that's what he does for a living.
Right, he's there to answer those questions, to help you make a decent decision about what to send to the county council. It ain't no wonder that nothing that the planning commission does ever gets approved at the county council, because if they watched your meeting, They'd be like, these dudes don't know nothing about anything. The planning commission is there for future things, because of growth, because of people coming. All of these putting innovations into the county. That's what the planning commission is to do, not to take us back to living in caves,
Well,
down dirt driveways. That's not what the county's planning commission is supposed to be there for.